guys, thanks for coming. You all know by now why we're here. Just a bit of housekeeping to talk us through the structure of the announcement. We're just going to hear from James Horwill first, and we'll hear from our head coach, Richard Graham, James Slipper, Rob Simmons, and then Michael Hunt. Once everyone's spoken, we'll open the floor up to questions, and then we'll have some time afterwards for vision and one-on-ones.
All good? Sweet. So obviously you're well aware of why we're here. After a number of extensive conversations with Richard, myself, Chairman Ron McCall and CEO Jim Carmichael, we collectively made the decision that the best thing for the Reds moving forward would be for me to step down as captain and to promote James Slipper as the new captain with Rob Simmons and Carmichael as his vice captains. This was a process that started this year when I returned from holidays, and a conversation that Rich and I had over a couple of weeks, and was something that, if I'm honest, I was reluctant to at first, but then after giving it more thought and spending more time thinking about the best way to transition leadership onwards, as it's well aware, I'm moving on at the end of this season. We agreed that and I agreed that also the best way to do this was to step down and allow, obviously James to take over and allow me to, I guess, take more of a back seat in a role where I'm probably more on the outside looking in rather than being leading from the front. I think it's a great appointment of Slips. There's a great respect amongst all the players, and I think the fact that Rob and Carmichael have both been promoted to leadership positions is a fantastic indictment of what they've done for this. Rob over a longer period of time, but Carmichael since he's been back in the code. I've been very impressed with the way he's gone about things, and I think it's a good leadership team going forward, and it's a team that certainly has my 100% support moving forward. I'd just finally like to thank the QRU for their support over the last 8 years, for giving, I guess, a 22-year-old a chance to step in here and captain this great state. It's something I'm very proud of, so thank you very much.
Firstly, just following on from that, I'd like to congratulate and acknowledge James Horwill's leadership over the last 8 years. I think it's fair to say that his pride in the red jersey is second to none, and I think the way he's led the team over those last 8 years, he leaves the role in a very good position, and the team in a very good position. I think it's also important to acknowledge Willie Genia, who's been part of the formal leadership team over the last 5 years and has also done an outstanding job. Just following on from James and the reason as to why, James articulated it pretty well. Over the last period of time, we've been looking at change, and part of that change obviously is how we make the Reds better and how we transition into the future. Part of that process is making a change while James is still here at the organisation, and bringing James Slipper, Rob Simmons and Carmichael Hunt as a new leadership team. And I think the benefit for us in that, whilst James is here, is the ability to mentor in a live capacity, both in games but also retrospectively post games and throughout the week. I think it's important that, certainly important that we congratulate James Slipper on the appointment of captain. No man in the team deserves it more than James. He's a huge level of respect within the team, and he certainly leads by example. And he'll do an outstanding job as a Red skipper in 2015. I'd like to also congratulate Robbie Simmons. Strategically has a very strong understanding of the game, leads the team in the lineouts, as you'd be aware, has a big physical presence, and I think as a great mate of James Slipper's will be a very strong supporter. Carmichael, whilst only new to the game or returned to the game yeah, has demonstrated, I think, in his 4 months here, his ability as a professional. He comes with a huge level of respect, but his ability to integrate amongst the playing group and already have influence has been noticeable. And along with Rob and James, will form a very good leadership team.
Yeah, obviously it's a very proud moment for myself. It's a very humbling moment. The Queensland Reds are a team that I have followed from the majority of my rugby career, and it's a team I've always supported. So to be able to have this, I guess, privilege to captain such a prestigious club is something I always take with great, importance, and with the team that I've been, been given to captain, I'm sure that we're going to have a successful year ahead and many years to come. Just on behalf of the Reds, the Reds players would like to thank James Horwill for his services over the last 8 years as captain. He's been a big part of the reason why the Reds rugby have turned things around. And to where he's gotten this club over the years is something that he should be very proud of, and not only proud of, but something he can always think back to and really have fond memories of. James has a huge important role in our team for this year. He's obviously a very experienced player, and he's very respected amongst the team. So for him to be able, for myself to have someone of his calibre to, I guess, mentor me is something I'm very grateful for, and something that's going to help me along the path of leading this state. So I'm lucky enough to be joined in the leadership role with Rob Simmons, someone I've been playing rugby with since probably the under-15, so we're very familiar with each other in that role. And with Carmichael, he's obviously a proven competitor at quite a few sports. So especially in rugby league, he's proved that he can compete at the best level, and no doubt his professionalism and his experience will come across most of the squad. So to have these two by my side, and also James Hall is gives me confidence going forward into the season. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'd also like to thank the QRU and the organisation for obviously giving me this opportunity. Something I won't take lightly, and something I'm really looking forward to do.
Yeah, obviously I'll start with I'm extremely proud of being appointed vice captain, and look forward to supporting James and Carmichael with everything we do this year. I suppose I've been around the Reds here for a couple of years now, and I'm fully confident in the decisions that I make and that we'll make as a team, and look forward to a good year in 2015. That's about it. Not quite as big as these guys.
Yeah, I'll just reiterate how much of a privilege it is to be named vice captain, and obviously I'm looking forward to working alongside these gentlemen throughout the year, and obviously using my experience over the last 11 or so years as a professional, to push us in the direction of success, because that's what we're all craving here, that's what we're after, and I'm excited for what lay ahead, because over the last 4 months, obviously seeing the group develop and come together has been really promising, and we're looking forward to obviously kicking it off up in Cairns with our first trial match, and then obviously moving forward toward the season. So it's a privilege and honour, and I look forward to it.
Open up the floor question.
Kev, just looking at your body language now, mate, must have been a pretty tough decision to step down.
Yeah, look, I think initially when you think about it, it was, but then when I probably gave it more thought, the best thing for the team was to do it this way, and that's all that's what you play team sport, is to do the best thing by the team. And I think the best way to transition the leadership is to do it this way, rather than I've made my decision about my future pretty clear, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to get everything out in the open early for my future, was that this organisation had the chance to prepare and prepare for the future and not be caught on the hop. And that was that was always the plan from my perspective of announcing what I was doing early in the piece, and that's, I guess that this is probably the first step of doing that. And look, it's, there's no doubt I love captaining this team, this state, but I do understand that you can't do it forever. I'm not going to play rugby forever, so there had to be a time, and I feel very privileged to have done it, so many times.
When you took over as captain, this whole place was exactly flying along. You must look back 8 years later and be really proud of what all the changes here.
Yeah.
On top of that.
Yeah, it's sort of a weird feeling, You look back and you think about it over the last couple of weeks that, as I said, I was 22, and the organisation, puts its faith in a 22-year-old hothead that, didn't spend much time on the field, spent more time off the field with things like that, and to be able to be given that faith and to be able to get this place to where it is today. I mean, that's, I guess I said to myself when I got given the captaincy back then that, I just want to leave it in a better place than when I started, and I feel I've done that.
James, there's big exodus happening at the end of the year. Does this captaincy lock you into Queensland for any length of time? Or?
I had a funny feeling that was going to come. Yeah, look, I can't really comment on what other players are doing, but as I said earlier, Queensland is my home. It's a team I've really enjoyed playing for, but it's also a team I've always supported. So hopefully that answers your question.
I mean, like Kelly himself used this as a stepping stone to the Wallaby captaincy. Do you have any ambitions in that area?
No, not really, not at all. I think for myself and personally, I would just be concentrating on the Reds, and that's that's all I'm thinking about at the moment. We're starting off our season in 2 weeks, so there's plenty of work and goals. I'm sure that we're all set. So I think I'll be busy enough.
James, what sort of skipper do you want to be? Does actions speak louder than words? Were you barking orders there at the breakdown?
Yeah, look, I don't plan to change any sort of way I play the game. I like to think that I do lead by example on the field. So first and foremost, I'd like to be playing well. I think that's the key for me, is just to continue playing well and make sure I'm very consistent over the year. We're privileged enough to have a lot of experienced blokes in the team, so I don't think it really comes down to one bloke, barking orders. So, we've got quite a few players in the team that enjoy doing that. But, my role is just basically making sure everyone's up for a win.
Richard, there's a real sort of feeling, I guess, of regeneration about the team. Some kids obviously going over some new players. This move sort of time to capitalise on that a bit as well, and make sure one ear relative to the other.
Yeah, I think we've demonstrated over the last 6 months that we're making a lot of change at the organisation. There's no doubt about it. I think the fact that James came out was very open with us through James Hall with his dealings with Harlequins. Then allows you to make different decisions. I think the point that you make is right. The ability to merge one generation to another seamlessly has its benefits, and for this next group of leaders to be able to spend time with experience of the previous generation of leaders is beneficial for the group.
And Carmichael, who played the game, vice captain, must be going
Yeah,
out.
I think formally probably hasn't had titles or an armband before, but I think he's always demonstrated a level of leadership and influence, and coming into the group, he deserves the opportunity on the back of how he's conducted himself in the last 4 or 5 months.
Carmichael, just on that, that's a massive vote of confidence, I guess, from within your new playing group.
Yeah, sure is. And as Richard said, I've only been here for 4 or so months, but I've got great confidence in the last 11 seasons I've had as a professional. That's going to put me in good stead to lead the group. More than anything, I think it's probably a nod on what I've done in the past, but there's a lot of history to create going forward for me, and obviously alongside these boys this year, we're looking forward to hopefully tasting success again.
Did you ever see this coming?
No, I didn't. I was pretty shocked, to be honest. But took it in my stride, and as the boys have alluded to, it's not just going to be pressure on one set of shoulders. It's there's a lot of leaders that aren't sitting at this table which are going to have a big influence on the group this year, and we're confident. We've got our confidence in our group going forward.
But are you feeling like extra pressure to make this overall success now?
Not really. The pressure comes from myself, so it's just business as usual.
Kev, obviously you've relished the challenge in the last 8 years, so there's a little bit of you that's sort of keen to just get in there and whip in without having to worry about change the ref, without breaking the ways or something like that.
Yeah, I guess that's a part of it. I guess it allows me to probably free up and have a bit more time to do, worry about my own game and try and make this season, my last season in Australian rugby, as successful as possible for hopefully this team, and hopefully I get the opportunity to play in that gold jersey again with the World Cup. So that's my focus, and it probably allows me to spend a bit more time worrying about that than I guess the external things that do and responsibilities that do come with captaining a side.
Richard, given that this was driven by James' decision to move on, you mentioned Will Kenny before. Is the same thinking, is that part of the reason why?
No. I felt Wayne at the time. When you look at the leadership group, James has been in that role for 8 years. Will's been in that role for 5 years. And they're a group of leaders, and you see a number of them here today that lay dormant underneath. I think you've got some dominant characters, you've got some obviously dominant footballers, and I think as a consequence, guys lay dormant. But this provides them now the opportunity by formalising those leadership roles to step forward. And the great thing about it is it expands the leadership. We had this conversation, the four of us yesterday. The leadership group here grew from 1 to 4 immediately, and you add Willie to that, and you add the other 100 cappers, and this whole change is about that.
Any other questions? Okay, guys, we'll go ahead into the veranda just for some vision.
Thank you.